I'm back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I ain't gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, and she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle, jiggle.
And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back flow, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, back in my bag, yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm Landon from Shoewear, and today we're checking out the newest addition to Kevin Durant's shoe line, the Nike KD15 Beginnings. So if this is your first time checking us out, feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching and give this video a like. We would greatly appreciate that. So taking a quick look at the box and the price, these get a pretty cool like butterfly design or kind of something along those lines. I'm not totally sure what it's trying to be, but in the middle there you're going to get KD's player logo with his signature kind of running over the top of that. And then as for pricing, these are still retailing for $150, which is like what the last 2 or 3 models have kind of stayed at. So it's a little bit on the middle to like higher end, but still not too bad. So taking a look at the appearance for these, this is the lowest shoe that KD has had like dropping his line since going all the way back to the KD 11s. The 12s, the 13s, the 14s, they all ran up a little bit higher. It was more of like a mid-top design, but these pretty clearly are going to be considered a low-top model. And that is something that KD wanted to kind of return to, just matching some of the shoes from like previously in his line a little bit earlier in there. And you know, I really do like the overall look to the model on these. You can have a bunch of like different textures and overlays kind of across that upper, and I'll get to that more in a second, like in the materials section, but I think it does add to the appearance and just gives these a really clean look. And it's similar with most KD models, his player logo is going to show up on the tongue, and on the pull tab you're going to get the word easy, since KD's nickname and I guess like his handle on like social media is Easy Money Sniper. I'm sure you guys might have seen KD kind of tweeting back and forth with people on social media a time or two, so that name might ring a bell. But the easy text is also going to show up on the inside of the box. So just a lot of like a good amount of details and effort just put into this release as a whole. Now I do like the Nike, like the Air Zoom text kind of built into the midsole. That's a little bit similar to the KD14 model. And these ones right here did lose the strap from the KD14s though. But I'm not really surprised. I mean, straps generally show up and like work a little bit better on like mid to high top designs just because you have more shoe to work with overall. But the reverse Nike swoosh on the inside of the upper here is super tough. Like the PG6 just came out and kind of did the same thing on that model. I honestly think the PG6 and the KD15 do have a few like similarities just as far as the look goes. But to wrap it up, on the heel for these you have a really cool wave pattern along with the number 7, which is the number he wears on the Nets right now, wherever he's going to end up playing for this upcoming season. But I mean, I'm actually really big on this year's design, but now let's go ahead and see how they hold up. So now looking at more of the materials and the performance side, and starting off with the cushioning, the KD15 is going to get a full-length Air Zoom strobel unit that is stitched directly to the upper, which is similar to the KD14 setup. And then doing that is kind of meant to help cut out unnecessary weight and just provide full foot responsiveness. And you're gonna get some additional kind of like full length foam, which is gonna add to an already comfortable sensation. And it's gonna also help give back optimal energy for elastic performance. So the cushioning is definitely something that I was high on for last year's KD14 model. Some shoe lines, they tend to do better in like certain categories and like struggle in others. Like, you know, LeBron's line is always performing really well for the cushioning, but traction, support, I mean, they can struggle there. But I would say that KD's line is one of the better performing like shoes for cushioning category, just year in and year out. Even his subline with the KD Tray 5 is going to be above average for cushioning. But something I noticed on this year's model though is that you can really feel that unit in the forefoot. Like each step, each jump, I mean, the cushioning pod is really noticeable and it feels like responsive and gives you a little extra spring from what I've noticed up to this point. And honestly, it is pretty similar to like how the Kyrie 8s play, which have like that same type of unit. They might be a little bit more spring loaded in the Kyrie 8 though. I am pretty big on this year's Kyrie 8, especially compared to the Kyrie 7s. But I mean, as far as like break-in time on the KD15s, I didn't really need much here at all. They loosen up pretty quick and the sock liner does feel padded, which is just going to add to an overall soft feel. So I would say that cushioning is definitely one of the better aspects for the shoe in my opinion. So now getting into the materials and the support, like I said a minute ago, the upper on these have like some different materials at play that do feel quality. Nike didn't really go cheap on these, which was nice to see. So you're going to get a multi-layered mesh upper that is meant to be lightweight and also give these shoes that already broken in type feel before you even play in them. And the mesh, along with, keeping this a low top design, does lead to these kind of being lighter than the previous model for sure. I mean, the KD15 is going to be weighing 436 grams for a size 10.5. That doesn't really make these super light, especially for them already being a low top design, but it still is going to be average to maybe slightly on the lighter side, so that's still going to be nice. But one of the biggest changes was Nike taking away the strap that ran across the upper on the KD14, and instead you're going to have a modified midfoot containment system that you feel especially when you tighten your laces. And I'm going to say this now, that is going to be pretty important. Like, the first time I played in these, I was dealing with a little bit of heel slippage, and I definitely was not excited about that. But I mean, once I took the time to actually tighten these up a little bit more, that actually went away. So I would make sure that you're lacing them up, and I don't know, just like paying special attention to not just tying them to tie them, because you may not feel quite as secure. And the heel is going to be crafted to even help lock your foot in and add some support to your Achilles. And Nike did place a little special interest on that because KD, he has been having some like Achilles related injuries just over these past few years. So I'm not surprised to kind of see that in there. Then to go along with that, you're going to get some added thickness in certain spots just to kind of help with the support, just add to it. And the laces are going to feed through an overlay that actually that entire Nike swoosh on the side of the upper is on. And when your shoe is tight, you can really feel that just help with the lateral containment and keep yourself within the design. So aside from the minor heel slippage that was a quick and easy fix for me, the KD15 is really nice for both the materials and the support categories. To finish off with traction, KD's line is coming off a well-performing model from last year, and they pretty much pick right up where they left off. As far as the pattern, I was a little more fan of the ovals and like the lines like that was on that KD14 model. This 15 is going to have some grooves and some ridges on the sole to kind of help provide multi-directional traction and just a court feel, and they are going to do that. Like last year's outsole, it did feel a little bit softer than this 15, and you're going to get more of a random traction pattern, which I normally don't love, but playing in these, you can tell that they are going to be sticky, and they give you plenty of bite on the court. I would say they are a little bit of a dust collector though, especially on dirtier courts, but I mean, just one swipe and it's pretty much easy to solve that. That's an easy fix, but I did want to put that out there at least for you. And the grooves do feel pretty deep, so I mean, they don't feel soft either like last year's KD14 did, so I would say that, it's going to be more durable, so outdoor use could be in play here. But to finish off with sizing, I went true to size, and that worked out perfect for me. You're going to have, a pretty standard for the length, and then the width is going to be somewhat narrow, so keep that in mind, just if you're thinking about going a half size down. But overall, the KD15 continues to add another well-performing shoe to Kevin Durant's line. There really isn't a weakness on this model, from the cushion to the traction to the materials to the support. No, Nike didn't really leave any category untouched on this shoe, so it's definitely a pair that I would recommend for performance. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. If you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just click the link on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio, so feel free to check that out. But that wraps up this review. Until next time, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.